Okay, I think out of respect for everyone's time, we'll go ahead and get started. Just as a point of order, I just want to let everyone know that we are recording this presentation. So I'm Sean Brunel, I'm the Wizard, and I'd like to thank everyone for attending today's webinar. We're going to keep everything very tight in today's presentation out of respect for your time, and we should have everything wrapped up in about 30 minutes. But we'll stay as long as necessary to answer and fill in any additional details you might have. So feel free to stick around. I'm proud to officially kick off this integrated partnership with Efficient Hire. We chose to partner with Efficient Hire because of their proven and established track record in the Domino's ecosystem. They currently service over 1,000 Domino's Pizza franchise stores, so they know the needs and the ins and outs of our system already. And having seen all the details of their system, it really is a one-stop solution that we've all been craving for when it comes to recruiting and applicant tracking, onboarding, WOTC, ACA, and we'll get into all of that in detail in a second. So together with Efficient Hire's expanding product line and Wizardline Technology's ability to move data to and from Pulse and NGSS, which is coming in the future, together we are making the solution even better and more complete and more hands-off. So with that, I'm excited for you to see what we have to offer. And with that, I'll turn it over to Megan from Efficient Hire.
Perfect. Thanks, Sean. So hi, everyone. This is Megan from Efficient Hire. As you said, really appreciate you being here, and I'm excited to be speaking with you. The goal of this webinar is to show you why we do work with so many Domino's and why the Wizardline and Efficient Hire partnership helps make your life easier. During the next 15 minutes or so, I'm going to show you why our solution was built specifically for the hourly workforce. So Efficient Hire, we only work with high volume hourly hiring companies. Our mission is really to help you overcome challenges that are often associated with the people that you hire, those delivery drivers, the customer service reps, the managers. Our commitment to our customers, just saying up front, is a hiring process for you and the employees that you're trying to hire that is quick, easy, and compliant. I can't overemphasize those things enough. Quick, easy, and compliant. You're going to hear me use those words a lot. We also have integrations with the other technologies you use today. Obviously, Wizardline, Pulse, great partners of ours, but also Infomart background screening, pay cards, and you're going to have a super seamless process that doesn't require manually entry of any information, and any physical data entry, paper processes that you use today are all going to go away. So please feel free to use the Q&A or the chat feature with any questions. But like I mentioned, going to try to leave some time for Q&A at the end as well. So with that said, let's get into it. What is the state of the world at your locations today? Imagine these little stores listed out on the left side of the screen are all of your locations. Most of the owners that we work with have slightly different challenges depending on the store and the market that that store is in. Some can't find enough candidates, some are not very tech savvy and might have managers that have little to no experience. Most of you have managers that have little to no HR experience, and they just need a very simple process for HR functions. Others forget new hire paperwork to get them completed. They might take a week to get I-9 signed, and that leaves you, right, HR and operations frustrated at the end of the day. We call this our chaos slide. So in contrast to this chaotic scenario, this is your world with Efficient Hire. So there's a little cheese factor there, right? Going from this chaos to this streamlined system. But really, this is our goal. We put the guardrails in place so it's very difficult for you and your team members to make mistakes. Guaranteeing of best practices and making sure that the technology is easy to use. That's what this is all designed for, right? I can't guarantee that you're going to feel like, a Zen master. Hiring's tough. HR is often tough, but we remove the headaches that you have today and put you to be in the best position possible to compete against the competition when it comes to recruiting and to compete against the competition when it comes to actually getting these employees ready to work. So you hear me say the solution was built specifically for the hourly workforce and the companies that hire them, right? A cute little tagline. But what exactly does that mean? The slide on the screen right now outlines the first of our 3 core solutions. This is the recruiting and the applicant tracking system that was built exactly for your hiring. So imagine this as a timeline from left to right. First, with the intelligent job advertising, you have to attract job seekers. You have a ton of competition. So the goal here is to really widen the net. We're going to get people applying to your job from everywhere that they could potentially find it. We work with over 100 job boards on the screen, but you know these today, right? The Indeed, the ZipRecruiter, the Snag, they're sponsoring all the podcasts and you hear their name pop up. But we also give you the ability to advertise on these boards at a lower cost than what you're able to do yourself today. We have a lot of data behind the scenes that makes your advertising spend more efficient. But we also, right, in addition to the advertising, help you increase free traffic. Online, like Google and Indeed and Glassdoor all allow organic traffic. Getting referrals is a great source of free traffic and digging into your customer base to find great applicants. You'll see the flyer here, for example, right? Text to apply codes and QR codes are going to increase the traffic from people who are at your locations, who are your customers. Then you have to make it incredibly easy for people to apply for your jobs and be screened for your minimum criteria. We know the people who apply for Domino's jobs will also apply for 10 other hourly positions nearby. You know this better than I do, right? Is you've got people, you've got competition, you know they're applying to multiple places and they're doing all of that applying from their cell phone. So you have to make it easy for them to apply for your jobs from their cell phone. Other applications might ask for a resume upload or the candidate to create a profile or do an assessment. That's a problem because those things make candidates drop off. And if they drop off, you never see that person who is interested enough in your job to start applying in the platform, right? Through our system, they can apply via text on a computer from a browser, all on their cell phone, right? And it only takes about 3 minutes so that when someone starts your application, they actually complete it, which is the name of the game. You got to get these people applying for your jobs. Then you have to engage with the candidates. And this is just as important as the candidate flow, to be perfectly honest with you. I hear managers say all the time, people apply for my jobs, but I never reach them. This candidate engagement portion was really built for your hiring managers who are in the field and having those no-show issues. Your managers get a text notification when someone applies for their job and they can review that person's information, text them. They don't have to show their personal cell phone number, but they text them through our system and they can schedule an interview with automated interview reminders all from a cell phone, right? They're just as busy as these candidates who are applying for jobs. They're responsible for staffing their stores, and the people who are responsible for staffing their stores really love these features because it's just really a more effective way of getting candidates in the door. Also in this pre-hire engagement step is where most groups like to run a background screen. So we are a strategic partner with Infomart that a number of Domino's groups use, and we have an integration that you can submit and run screens right through the applicant tracking system. If you're not using them today, they're a low cost and really quality screening provider that many groups use. If you use somebody else, we will work within your workflow to make things as efficient as possible too. Yeah, and also the question about the app. Candidates don't love downloading apps, right? So you can save the browser onto your phone, right? I have the Efficient Hire ATS saved as an icon on my iPhone, which makes it very easy to open up and look at all your applicants. Everything is meant to be dynamic though. So somebody you get a notification that somebody has applied for your job, you get a notification that somebody completed their I-9 paperwork, and you can immediately go in and complete the required next step for that employee. And then last is the reporting that's built for improving your hire, right? You don't need me, you don't need Efficient Hire to show you a bunch of data that doesn't help you hire, right? So we really power you with the data that actually has an impact on making it easy for you to hire. For all your locations, and this is drilled down to location, to the person who's doing the recruiting, you're going to know how many applications did you receive from any source, how many of those applications did you review, how quickly did it take you to review those applicants, and you're also going to have data on the text messaging as well. So when a manager calls you, right, you've got this frustrated hiring manager who can't staff their store and they don't know what to do. The conversations between someone who only reviews half of the applicants and the conversation with somebody who reviews everyone, but it takes them 5 days, those are two different conversations. And so it's really purpose built to help you coach your team and suggest best practices, know where they are, and make improvements. So before we get into our second solution, I want to show you why any of this matters. Why does your team following up quickly matter? This may come as a shock, but the number one indicator of being able to make a hire is how long it takes you to reach out to that candidate. I'll say that again because it's important. The number one indicator of being able to make a hire is how long it takes you to reach out to the candidate. And managers say, I don't have time to be quick. I'm busy. I'm down employees. But look at the hiring numbers, right? When a candidate reaches out in less than a day, these are our hiring numbers based on our customers. They hire 69% of people. If it takes them 1 to 3 days, they only hire 13% of people, 3 to 7, 5%, and it trails off from there. So you have to be quick and you have to make it easy to be quick, which is why our tool is so successful for the managers. So Sean did pop a poll up, and we're going to do a poll. Curious to hear from you guys. How quickly do your teams reach out? So we'll give a second. Okay, what did the poll results look like, Sean?
So less than 1 hour or day was 10%. 3 out of the 30 people who replied. 1 to 3 days or hours was 40%. 3 to 7 was 27%, and I have no idea, 23%.
Yeah. So regardless of if it's hours or days, right? Less than those 7 hours is going to be in a good place. But if you, as you see, even more than 1 day, you're going to considerably drop off. And for the organizations that have no idea, almost a quarter of you, empowering yourself with this data is going to be one thing that has a huge impact on you being able to actually hire people, right? If you collect your resumes on Monday and you don't reach out till Friday, that's 3 to 4 days where that employee has the ability to go be hired somewhere else and you miss them. So let's dig into onboarding, right? This is our second solution. It can be used with the applicant tracking system or standalone. And this is really the fun part. You have a great candidate, you're ready to hire them. One click of a button triggers onboarding so that your new hire can provide you with all the information and forms that you need to put that person to work. It's all completed and stored electronically. I was talking to a restaurant group a couple of weeks ago, and they had someone apply for a group. They reached out immediately because they got a text notification. The person was on their way home, but stopped in the restaurant before they went home and were onboarded and ready to work the next day in about 15 minutes. So truly, this onboarding process, you've got that person you're ready to hire, it can be done very quickly. So looking at just paperless onboarding to start, the guardrails are in place so that your employees cannot make a mistake. If you have been relying on paper forms or just putting a lot of documents in front of a candidate on a computer, you're going to like how we guide new hires through the questionnaire. It's logic driven, so they only need to fill out the information that is applicable to them. Drivers, for example, right? They're asked about their driver's license and insurance, but somebody who won't be driving for you doesn't need to go through that part of the onboarding process. It's also really streamlined so that when an employee puts their name in once, they never have to enter it again. We have all the forms you need, like I-9, federal and state withholding, the Domino's Partner Foundation form, non-driving agreements, state forms like California wage theft notice. Like I get so excited about the forms, can't even talk, but I could go on and on with all of those forms that are already in the system. The onboarding is also hyper configurable though. So if there's anything we don't already have in there that you need, let's say you've got some specific franchise agreement forms, it's extremely easy to add those in. Our onboarding platform, last thing about this is that it is extremely easy for the managers to use so that when they're doing their part 2 of the I-9, they're getting signatures, they can do it from their cell phone, but most importantly, there's no mistakes being made. Then we go to driver management, which obviously is important for you as an organization, and we will automatically collect driver information, all the good stuff, license number, vehicle information, insurance details. Just like with the rest of onboarding, it keeps you free of paper processes, and it also gives the ability for us to track any expiring documents so you have the most up-to-date information on your drivers. Efficient Hire is also a work opportunity tax credit processor. You see the big tax credits on the screen. This program is also called WOTC, W-O-T-C. And just in case you're not familiar with the program, it's a federally funded program designed to incentivize you, the employers, to hire employees from different eligibility groups. Okay, so 20% to 30% of your workforce is already eligible for earning you these credits. You get up to $9,600 per person. It's a dollar for dollar tax credit. But on average, restaurant customers earn about $900 for each person that's eligible. So you're already hiring these people. It's free money you don't want to leave on the table. And our technology makes it easy for you to start capturing the credits. Or if you're already doing WOTC, by screening as part of an integrated option, right? Doing it with the rest of the onboarding paperwork, you guarantee that 100% of new hires are being screened and you'll maximize your credits. WOTC processing involves a couple steps. First, you have to screen for eligibility and get sign off from the state that you operate in. Then you have to track hours to calculate the credit. It sounds complicated and it can get complicated very quickly, which is why we take on that work for you. In some technologies, you'd have to send over payroll information so that hours and wages can be used to calculate your credit. But you're lucky because we pull those hours over from Pulse, which is the great part of the Wizardline and Efficient Hire integration, right? So WOTC is really hands-off for you until you take advantage of the tax credits. One of the best parts of the solution as a whole really is that integration with Wizardline and Pulse. So no manually entering in employee information, no storing of paper documents, and fewer mistakes mean that you're not going to mess up paying employees. Everyone wants to be paid. That's a large part of why your employees are there. So the integration is really great for trying to avoid those payroll mistakes. Other applicant tracking systems have send a pulse option. What is the lag time? Once that I-9 is signed by the manager, that part 2 of the I-9, it's automatically going to get sent over into Wizardline and can be sent to Pulse as well with the push of a button. Sean, do you have an idea of the amount of time that it takes? Minutes, right?
Yeah, no, it's literally seconds. So it's all real time. So you have the ability to push the team members that are loaded into Efficient Hire into Pulse with like 3 button clicks, and it's all real time. So there's no delay. There's no lag to it. In addition to that, we built it wizard style, if you will, in that you can push it to multiple stores, you can push it to your whole company, and our team member API interface in general allows you to update team member files in real time across your whole company.
So with that on onboarding, we've got a quick questionnaire up on the screen again. What is your onboarding process today? Do you use Efficient Hire? Are you working on paper processes? Do you have another vendor? Is it a mix of things? Potentially something else altogether?
Yeah, so I'm just going to jump in here a little bit while we leave the poll up. So it looks like we have a fair amount of current Efficient Hire customers, which is excellent. So I just wanted to point out that the Wizardline integration, where we are able to pull information from Efficient Hire and push it directly into Pulse, so there's no hand keying or anything, is already up, live, and running. The integration of sharing time card data for WOTC, as well as, which we're about to get into, ACA compliance. We are finalizing the exact steps that will happen, so that flow of data should be happening in the next 2 weeks or so. So it says we had 43 answers. 42% are current Efficient Hire customers. 16% have a paper process. 21% use another vendor. 14% is some combination of the two, and 7% is other.
Perfect. Good to know. Well, glad to see a lot of our current customers here. Thank you guys. We're really excited for this partnership and to turn it on for you. Everybody else using paper processes and another vendor, hopefully we're going to have an opportunity to make some efficiencies for you. Because the third tool that we have is ACA benefit management. As a lot of you know, if not all of you know, the IRS employer mandate is still in place that requires employers who are considered applicable large employers to be compliant with the ACA rules. Basically, if you have at least 50 full-time equivalent employees, you must offer health insurance to 95% of those full-time employees. It has to be both affordable and provide minimum value, or you face significant fines. If you ever have any questions, right, ACA is something else that can get complicated, please reach out. We'll make sure to answer your questions. But our toolkit and the tool is designed to help you stay compliant with ACA regulations in a few ways. We automate benefit notification so employees understand their potential eligibility, right? But we also give you access to a dashboard. That's a screenshot that's on the slide to help you easily track and manage who is eligible for the benefits, and then send notifications when they are eligible. So payroll data and time cards are required for tracking, and that also comes over from Pulse, similar to how it does for WOTC. ACA management is something that can get very complicated, not easy for store managers to manage, can be very difficult to keep compliance, but we do this every day. We've got an ACA team. So the combination of our team and the technology really mitigates those A and B penalties that you're potentially going to have. So an important thing to note here, if you have a benefits provider today, great. We work to make sure your benefits packages are loaded into the tool. If you don't have a provider today or would like to look at options, we also work with a trusted partner. They're named IAG. They have a low cost standard plan, and it meets all of the ACA requirements. So if you are anything like me, pricing has a big impact on your use of different tools and technology, but we want to keep our pricing very straightforward. There are 2 bundles. Hiring Bundle 1 includes the onboarding technology, I-9, E-Verify compliance, driver management, the WOTC processing to maximize those credits. It's $20 per location per month. You can screen every single new hire for WOTC, and you only pay for the credits you actually earn at a 15% rate. For most of our customers, the amount of those credits provides a 3-to-1 or a 4-to-1 return on the cost of the technology. Hiring Bundle 2, which is $30 per location per month, is if you would like the onboarding and WOTC solutions with the recruiting and the applicant tracking system and everything that comes along with having a more successful recruiting process. That means the job advertising, the application flyers, text to apply, an unlimited number of text messages, interview scheduling, all the great reporting, right? That is $30 per location per month. And then if you choose, you can add ACA benefits on to either one of those groups for $30 per month. Okay, and then last thing before we get to our questions, and guys, if you talk to my team, they know I can talk. So I want to try to leave as much time as questions for possible, but our implementation is very easy. We have an account ready for you with Domino's templates, integrations ready to go. After a welcome call with your account manager, we finalize the account with all your details. We walk through an admin training with you and any other leadership that you'd like to have involved, right? Making sure that the account is signed off and looks great. And then we schedule time to train your team. We take that on, make sure that they're comfortable with the tool, because adopting is a top priority, right? Making sure that your managers are comfortable using the tool is incredibly important. I want to leave you with this. There are a lot of factors that come with hiring that are going to make you successful or not successful. I wish there was one silver bullet that I could tell you to change and make all your problems go away. We are as close to that silver bullet as you're going to get. The reality is we put in a lot of little features and techniques in place so that recruiting is easier, so that hiring and onboarding is easier, so that ACA benefits management is easier. And that means you can focus on making great pizza. So with that, we've got a few questions here that I'll go through. Please feel free to keep them coming and we'll tackle them all. So Robert, as a follow-up to the app, managers managing, how do we make it so that you can choose who receives an email every time? That's great. So they do have the ability to get an email of new applicants. They also have the ability to get a text notification for new applicants as well. That is in lieu of having an app. So they get that text notification and it opens up into the browser. The way to do that is through the settings. They never have to show their personal cell phone number to a candidate, but to get that text notification or the email notification, they set that all up in the notifications tab of their ATS underneath notifications. This other question is, you don't get notifications for all of your stores. That depends on who's assigned to the job in the tool. So if you go in and assign yourself to those positions, or we can edit where you are set up in the organization, you'll get notifications for every job that you need to. I've used API, but I still haven't figured out to import the onboarding from Efficient Hire into Pulse. Sean is the expert on this, but what I will do is pull up here. This is the final stage of pushing the information over into Pulse.
Yeah, and can you go back one slide? So Nelson,
Sure.
I checked your franchise. Richard's already configured with this, and I don't know who the email would have went with the actual instructions and documents. But the team member API is accessed through the HR tab. Next slide, sorry.
This one?
Yeah, and then so loading the information from Efficient Hire is as simple as selecting Efficient Hire from your list of locations, and then that will populate the entire team member API tool with the Efficient Hire people. And then there's a few more steps between this and there, and then the last slide, which on the Interstore tab, you would then select the store you want the team member to go to, and then click Add to Store. So bringing a team member from Efficient Hire directly into Pulse is select Efficient Hire, select the employee, select the store, click a button, and it's pushed in real time.
Thanks, Sean. All right, Melinda, rapid pay card, would that take over direct deposit?
You don't have to use Rapid. Rapid is an integrated partner with Efficient Hire. So if you are on Rapid, and Efficient Hire can enroll your team member automatically in Rapid. I don't know if I said that correctly. But if you use a different pay card provider, you just simply keep using that pay card provider.
Yep. Yep. And Andrew actually asked as well, does this remove anything the manager has to do around pay card? If you have a pay card provider through Wizardline, that process can stay the same. This is just another option for you. Can Efficient Hire deal with complex organization structure, multiple legal entities, multiple healthcare providers? That's a great question. And it really is a core of the way our technology is designed, because it's the nature of the types of businesses that we work with, right? You potentially have different ownership groups, you have different states, different people need different forms, and that is all designed into our system. So the first thing we do is take a look at your org structure and how your tool needs to be designed, and we set up the tool to match that. We work with, single location organizations in a lot of ways. We also work with companies who have 300 locations and everywhere in between. So we can certainly match your organization structure. And we'll walk through we can talk about exactly what your structure looks like and make sure that it's set up the way you need it to be. If you have the ATS option, do Indeed applicants integrate directly? Absolutely. So Indeed is a strong partner of ours. They're the top job board in the US. So it's important that when candidates are searching for Indeed, they find your application. The great thing about it is they get that really mobile friendly, text friendly application process, even if they go through Indeed as well. So we push all of your jobs out to Indeed. You can elect to do that in an organic manner, so it's free. And you can also, if you're having trouble getting applicants, sponsor those jobs to have advertising on Indeed as well. If you hire someone for one store and then a month later they need to work a shift at a different store, is that still within seconds?
Yes, you have the ability to pull up any team member record from any of your Pulse stores, and then using the Interstore tab, copy that team member file directly to the new store, and it's in real time.
Can we integrate with Blue Cross Blue Shield? Absolutely. So if you are offering a major medical plan that you have in place today, we can pull those plans and set up the ACA benefits management. Essentially, we're letting them know what their eligibility is if you have plans in place already. Eric asked, when communicating with text messages, are the messages sent as emails or SMS to the applicants? Guys, I love these questions. They're great. So they are true text messages out to the candidate. Your managers don't need to use their phone number. It all happens in a portal in the system, but you send it through the technology and it goes as an SMS text message out to the candidate. And Robert, to be clear, when you finish the paperwork in the EBS onboarding portal, it automatically goes to Wizard and therefore goes to Pulse. Exactly. So,
yeah, so partially, there is user intervention required. Like, we're not going to automatically push it, and the reason is, well, it's multifold. But first, we need eyes on the information to make sure that whatever's in Efficient Hire is accurate. Plus, there's usually some additional fields that aren't in Efficient Hire that are required for a team member file. Just thinking out loud, like I think California requires food handler licenses, and you can't push an employee into Pulse if the food handler license field isn't filled out to some degree. So that's just an example. So, but correct, once they finish the paperwork, it's available to Wizards, and then it's available to be pushed into Pulse immediately. But it's not an automatic process. There are those 3 or 4 button clicks that we talked about earlier.
Jose actually asked if you can show us again how to push TM to Pulse. I can take that back over and show the screenshot as
Um,
well.
I'll just go ahead and I can do it here. So it's all done on the inner store. So here's a particular team member that we have that is active in that has positions in multiple stores. So here, if we were to make, and I can't click on his information for privacy reasons, but if we were to make a change to this team member file, we could then push those changes down to all stores with the click of a button. So adding a team member works the same way. You'd load them into the grid, you'd make the changes that you want, and then on this page with the additions, you would simply click the stores you would want to push that team member to, and then click the add to stores button. And so then that employee record is written down to the stores that you have checked.
Brad has a question. While we get any final questions in, can the employee handbook receipt and acknowledgement be included? Absolutely. So any handbook, any policy, any form that you need your employees to sign off on can be easily set up into the tool. If there is any configuration that you need certain employees to see a certain form or handbook and others not to, you can absolutely set that up as well. So everything you need. And truly, because we have so many groups, we've got accounts ready and waiting that have everything that our typical Domino's group would use, but any customization that you need will be added. Appreciate all the great questions, great useful information about the tool. I'm going to skip ahead for the sake of time and throw our contact information up on the screen right now. We are here as a resource for you. So you can go to efficienthire.com/Domino's and request a one-on-one conversation. You can also reach out to sales@efficientforms.com, comes directly to us and our sales team, and we'll be able to definitely get you everything that you need and answer any of those follow-up specific questions that you have. We also, as Sean mentioned, will be doing another webinar and you will get an email about that. So if there's anybody on your team who has follow-up questions, we'll be sure to get those all answered. And here's the last thing I'm going to leave you with. I asked that everybody pull out their cell phone. I highly recommend to go through the application and see how easy it is. You can scan the QR code on the screen, or you can text to apply this code and apply through a job seeker. It's going to be a great example of one, our application process and how easy that is. But we can also run you through onboarding as well once you submit an application. With that, when you're ready to get started, or if you have any questions, would like to see a demo, that's what we're here for. Please reach out, and thank you all for joining.
Thanks, everyone. I'm going to leave this screen up just another about 30 more seconds, and then I will end the webinar. Thanks again. I look forward to hearing from you guys and reaching out. Thanks.